Hey, this is Ezra from Ezra Bradley Photography, and I wanted to do a quick video review of the Canon 5DS-R that you see right in front of you. This camera was released by Canon about last summer, 2015, and it provides an astonishing 50.6 million megapixel sensor, which is the highest sensor count for the Canon lineup and also among other DSLRs currently on the market. The version that you see in front of you, this is the official 5DS-R. I just have it in a brown silicone cover. I could take it off, but it's a bit of a pain to put it back on, but this is the official real deal camera here. And I just want to do a quick video review as to the benefits, as to why I use this for professional use. And I just want to kind of go through a list of those items and share with you why I believe this is also a very great camera for commercial and professional use. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is the ability to use both an SD and a CF card. So you can see here I open up the bay door here, and you have the CF card here, and they're both 256 cards. As you can see here, this is 256, and I have the SD card here. And what's great about this camera is that if you're shooting for a client and you're using a camera that only has, let's say, one card port, you could be in trouble if, let's say, the primary card fails. So what I love about this camera is the ability for this camera to shoot images on both cards, and you can actually switch to the option here where you can record to multiple cards. So, and heaven forbid, if that first card fails, the second card will be a backup. And you have different modes where you can switch to for your preferences and needs. The second thing I love about using the 5DS-R is the full frame sensor. So you're talking about a 36 by 24 millimeter dimension of the sensor here. Well, this is not really the sensor, this is just the mirror. The sensor is actually above this mirror, but this is a full frame camera. Basically, the great benefits of this is that it provides more detail, more color saturation, allows more light into the sensor with cleaner images. And this is being that this is a 50 megapixel sensor, especially if you have, let's say, a photography software like Lightroom, you can really zoom in and see a lot more detail compared to, say, a 20 or 24 megapixel sensor. And what's great is that this camera can be used for very, very large prints. So this is another added benefit of using the 5DS-R. The other thing that I want to talk about too, that I love using the 5DS-R for professional use, is that you can change between file sizes. So for example, yes, as we mentioned before, this is a 50 megapixel sensor, but you don't always have to stay at 50 megapixels depending on the client that you're shooting for. So as you can see here, it says 50M, and I hope you can see that there. This is a large JPEG file size, but you can scale it down to, say, a 39 megapixel image size, or 22, so, or even 12 if you wanted to. So you have the ability to switch between different size levels, or I should say image file sizes, and you don't have to always stick to 50. And just to kind of put this into perspective for you, a large JPEG will be about, say, anywhere from 10 to 15 megabytes per shot, and a large raw shot will be on average 60 megabytes. So you just have to take into account the large file sizes that will tend to bog down your computer and your hard drive over time. The fourth thing I love about this camera is the silent shutter. In both the high and low speeds of this camera, it has a fairly low shutter sound. When you compare to, say, some other larger cameras, I don't want to mention the names on this video, they tend to have a large, flapping, mirror sound. Whereas this one here is fairly quiet. And I just want to kind of give you an example. So right now I'm just going to switch it to just regular, let's just say high continuous mode, and I just want to show you just very quickly just the sound. So if you can listen to this really quickly, not too bad. It's not too bad compared to, say, a 5D Mark III or, let's say, a 1DX. Those cameras are really loud. So let's switch it to, say, low speed continuous. Now I just want to show you here low speed continuous, or even silent mode. How about that? Silent continuous. So if we switch it to silent continuous, I also want to show you so that you can hear as well. So that also shows you too this just the overall sound level of the camera. It's actually fairly impressive, and that's the reason why I love this camera, is because I like to be non-conspicuous when I'm at events. I don't want my camera shutter to just be making a rapid, annoying sound that might disturb other patrons or people at the events. Then I would say the fifth item that I love about this camera is the fast AF. That's kind of a given for a professional DSLR of this stature. The AF points are about 61 points, and it's very fast. It's very accurate. Not really much to talk about there. And I would say the final reason why I love the 5DS-R is that the ISO is still quite amazing. And normally, I heard a lot of complaints or criticism about the 5DS-R when it first was released last year, where people said, oh, the ISO only goes up to 6,400. And the reality is if you're using a camera like this, you're going to be using a flash. So if you got your EX430 or your EX600, you're going to be using a professional flash. So that negates the whole low light environment, too noisy image argument. And even if you don't use a flash with the 5DS-R, I don't have any images to provide to you. You can go online and see different images from other sources, but I can tell you firsthand that even at the maximum ISO of 6,400, this camera produces very usable images, believe it or not. It's really amazing. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go and test out yourself and see what this camera has to offer. So, and on top of that, the camera also has a very good noise reduction system. And I guess some of the points that I like to use about the 5DS-R is that, it has very large raw file sizes, which you can use for large prints. It does have a very good video mode, but just to let you know that the video mode it's pretty much double the size of the your typical 5D Mark III. So you just have to take that into account as well. And I would say the other thing is a built-in intervalometer. So if you want to do time lapses, this camera does a great job with that. So these are some of the benefits that I enjoy using about the 5DS-R. I hope you enjoyed this video as a educational tool to help improve your photography. And once again, this is Ezra from Ezra Brathwaite Photography signing out. Thanks a lot.